Hi, third graders. We're going to read in our science book today on page 104. 104. This week, we are working on learning about what are invertebrates. So we worked the week before spring break on vertebrates, which vertebrates are animals with backbones. Well, in is actually a prefix, and it means not. So animals without backbones. So open up your science book and follow along with me. Down here it says fast fact. Butterfly travelers. In the fall, monarch butterflies travel very long distances to warmer places. In the investigate, you will draw conclusions about travels of another animal. So on page 105, there is an experiment you can try at home by making a worm farm. If you choose to do this, let me know how it turns out. Okay, let's look at page 106. Your vocabulary that we're going to be focusing on today is the word invertebrate. And the science concept is invertebrates are animals without a backbone, and they are grouped by traits. Remember traits? We used that word when we were talking about the different types of animals with backbones, the vertebrates. Those are characteristics of that group. So we'll learn about the traits. Okay, follow along. Invertebrates. When you hear the word animal, do you think of a mammal? Many people do. However, most animals aren't mammals. Most aren't even vertebrates. Most animals are invertebrates, or animals without a backbone. There are many more types of invertebrates than there are types of vertebrates. Okay, remember, vertebrates are animals with backbones, and there's many, many more animals in our world without a backbone. So let's look at this caption. Remember, caption tells us about pictures. All the animals shown here are invertebrates. They don't have a backbone. So here's an animal. The corals in this colony do not move around. Each is an invertebrate that has its skeleton on the outside. So here's another animal. It's called a scallop. This scallop's shell has two halves. So the halves on the shell are what hold this one up. Unlike the corals, the jellyfish moves in water. So this is an invertebrate that can move. Scallops don't move unless they use these little hairs to push themselves around or catch themselves on the water, and the corals don't move. Okay, then we have another invertebrate. It says, like all other invertebrates, the horseshoe crab has no backbone. Unlike the firefly or the spider, it has 10 legs. Remember, spiders have 8 legs. This guy has 10. And he doesn't have a backbone. He's got a hard outer shell. Up here we have insects such as this firefly are invertebrates. Insects have 6 legs. So again, 6 legs, and it does not have a backbone. Spiders aren't insects. They are in a group of invertebrates that have 8 legs. So here again, spiders are not, they do not have a backbone. They're invertebrates. There are more than 1 million kinds of invertebrates. Scientists group invertebrates by ways they are alike. Okay, let me read that again. That's going to be important. Scientists group invertebrates by ways they are alike. Look at the pictures on these pages. Why might scientists place the firefly? So that's this guy, the firefly. The horseshoe crab, that's this guy, and the spider in different groups. Think about that. How would they be grouped into different groups? Invertebrates may have simple or complex bodies. They may have a lot of legs or no legs at all. Even though there are many different invertebrates, they all have one common trait. none of them has a backbone. Okay, let's look at page 108. So again, we have some photographs. Let's read the caption about the photographs. Remember, these are text features that tell us more about what we are reading. The bumblebee, Luna moth, and dragonfly are part of the largest group of invertebrates, the insects. Okay, so insects are one group of invertebrates. So let's read about them. Insects. There are more kinds of insects than of other invertebrates. In fact, there are more kinds of insects than of all other animals put together. Insects live everywhere on Earth. Even cold Arctic areas have many insects during the summer. Insects have 3 body parts and 6 legs. So let me read that again because that is a trait of an insect. Insects have 3 body parts and 6 legs. They have no backbone, but they have a hard outer covering. Many insects, such as those shown on this page, have wings. Okay, so this page describes a lot about different types of insects. They have 3 body parts, 6 legs. They have hard outer coverings, and many of them have wings. Okay, let's look at another group of invertebrates, spiders and ticks. Let me tell you, ticks are my absolute worst nightmare. I think they're the grossest thing ever. Spiders and ticks look like insects, but they aren't insects. They belong to another group because they have traits different from those of insects. So pay attention. What makes spiders and ticks different from insects? Right here. Spiders and ticks have 8 legs and only 2 body parts. Like insects, spiders and ticks have an outer body covering. The covering helps protect them. Okay, again, traits of spiders and insects. They have 8 legs, 2 body parts, but they also have an outer body covering for protection. Let's look at the caption. The banana spider and deer tick are grouped together. They both have 2 body parts, 8 legs, and an outer body covering. So think about this. How are spiders and ticks like insects, and how are they different from insects? Okay, here's some information about spiders' webs. So let's read this. This is Science Up Close, spider webs. The orb spider's body makes silky thread from protein. The web begins with a sticky thread called the bridge. The spider anchors the next thread to the ends of the bridge. This is the first frame thread or support for the web. And you can see it's kind of making like a triangle looking shape. Then down here, from the first frame thread, the spider anchors more frame threads. So you can see there's more triangle looking shapes. The spider spins non-sticky radial threads from the center to the frames. So right here, these aren't sticky. But then number 4 says the spider walks on the radial threads when walking on the web. Finally, the spider forms a spiral of sticky silk from the edges of the web to the middle. So you can see some of these are sticky and some of them are not. That way the spider can walk on the parts that are not sticky. Okay, let's look at another group of invertebrates, and they are snails, clams, and squids, and this is page 110. Snails, clams, and squids are in the same group. They all have soft bodies. Let me read that again. They all have soft bodies. Also, most animals in this group have a head. Some of these animals, like the squid, have tentacles. Some, like the clam and the snail, have hard shells to protect their soft bodies. They also have a kind of foot. The foot pokes out of the shell and helps the animal move. Okay, let's read our captions. The Atlantic long-finned squid has no shell. It swims freely using its tentacles for movement and for getting food. So this is a squid. The sea slug has no shell. It swims or crawls along surfaces to get food. So here's the sea slug. This land snail has a shell that protects its soft body, right here. Its muscular foot helps it move. Down here, the Florida coquina's clam's shell has two halves that protect the animal's soft body. Like the snail, the clam has a muscular foot that helps it move. Okay, and another caption talks about the starfish. This starfish is covered with spines that protect it. Here's a sea anemone. The sea anemone opens its mouth. When the sea anemone opens its mouth, its tentacles make it look like a beautiful flower. And like insects and spiders, this blue crab has a hard outer covering. Okay, so lots of different characteristics here of snails, clams, and squids. Let's read about other kinds of invertebrates. All the animals shown on this page are invertebrates. The worms you observed in the investigate, that's back here if you choose to do the investigation on a worm farm. The worms you observed in the investigate are another kind of invertebrate. Worms have no shells, legs, or eyes. Scientists have not yet found or grouped all of Earth's animals. When a new animal is found, the first thing scientists ask is likely to be, does it have a backbone? So then they decide they characterize them into invertebrates, and then they go from there. All right, page 112. Invertebrates are important. Let's look at our captions that describe our picture first. Honeybees provide more than just their famous treat, honey. They also make beeswax. One way people use beeswax is to make candles. Then we have another caption down here about this picture. It says the movement of earthworms mixes air into the soil. So here's an earthworm. Okay, let's read about how invertebrates are important. Invertebrates are important to other living things. Bees and butterflies, for example, move pollen from one flower to another. This helps the flowers make seeds. Other animals, such as earthworms, improve the soil. Plants grow better in soil that has earthworms than in soil that doesn't. Many invertebrates are important foods for other animals. People can eat clams and crabs. People also eat the honey and use the wax made by bees. Okay, that's our reading for today about invertebrates. So I'm going to I have another video for you on your assignment. You're going to make another web like you did for the vertebrates. And I want you to move to the next video and I will show you how to do it. All right, good job, boys and girls.